Yo. Oh, where's my hat? I've acquired my hat. Hello, friends. Hello, Grot. Hello, Tuna. 20 stream watch streak. You guys are insane. I'll be half listening due to my D&D session. Text-based with bot. Nice. I think ads are over. They're over. What button do I hit? Let's just go here. Hello. God, my beard is... I need to tame my beard a little bit. It's getting crazy. Hello. You know, I realize my excellent humor is probably lost on you. I thought my stream title was pretty good, but then I realized you're all European, so hopefully you know what Home Depot is. Otherwise, I'm sad. So anyway, welcome in. We are going to be doing deck building today. I'd never been to Home Depot, but I like IKEA. Different thing. More of a hardware store. I'm sure you have like a big box hardware store in Europe, but I wouldn't know what that is. What is the equivalent to the Home Depot in Europe? Spell Europe without an E. OBI, Leroy Merlin, Bauhaus, Brico Depot, with lots of little accents over letters. All right, country, we have our own thing that's only here. Yeah, there we go. I don't even know how to say it, honestly. Bauhaus? I don't know. I'm not gonna try. DDP will understand my funny title. I was just proud of this one, that's all. See, it doesn't help because I don't know what... I mean, AU would just be A, right? Bauhaus? It's a good title, thank you. All these Europeans don't get me. Frickin' over the sea people. Under the sea. Anyway, it is time. It is time to do the thing. We are going to probably just jump right into it because I think it's going to be a fun stream. We kind of get to finally, I don't know what, should we do here? Should we go here? This is probably nicer. We could even potentially, oh, not that one. Does that not work? It doesn't work. Okay. Ignore that one. Unless. Or alternatively, we can go AAE themed. There we go. Why not? It's an AE kind of day. We don't get to use it that often. I mean, I guess we could use it literally whenever, but you know. All right, y'all. We're AEing so hard. We're AEing. Anyway, now that we have all our cards, we need to decide what cards work mostly best in these within each god's deck. I say mostly best because here's going to be our requirements for today. One is that we make a good deck for each thing that sort of represents its sort of what's it called, archetype, right? that kind of represents the feeling of the god. And the other is that we use every single card within at least one of these decks, right? Like, so if we have a card, it should at least show up once throughout the seven decks, the seven gods. Why is it always 7, you know? Anyway, those are our rules today. Each deck will be consisted of each deck. Nope, still can't talk. Each deck will consist of maybe there should be 6, not 7. Ha 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 ha. I'm not gonna say it. Just for that, I'm adding 3 more gods. Just kidding. Any hoodles, as they say. So the way deck building works, at least currently with the current balance of the game, obviously anyone's allowed to try whatever they want, like Grot has with his deck building. But the way it works is each god will have a set. A set will consist of it will consist of oops, let's just do it. Let's just show you. It'll consist of 4 unique heroes. Same with it, like same with land, 4 unique lands. 4 unique structures and 4 unique spells. And with this, the your heroes and lands will be duplicated. So you'll have 2 sets, 2 I shouldn't have done it like that, but I think you know what I mean. There'll be 2 of each hero, 2 of each land, 1 of each structure, 1 of each spell. Grot, be cooking. I even made my own god. At this rate, I'll have a whole deck of my own. Maybe. There you go. So how are you planning to do this? I feel like the first thing we should add to each are the lands, since they're the base, and then structures, heroes, spells last. Honestly, I was kind of tempted to just do the low-hanging fruit first, right? Like, just go by god, right? We'll pick a god. And just be like, what cards did we design for this? What cards are like specifically like good for this deck, you know? So like there's some obvious ones, right? Like, you know, King was designed for the Altruism deck, so we could put King in Altruism right away, right? Or like Royal Knight and Mermaid both are made for the Creation deck, which is now called Creation instead of Humanity. I'm a little like mixed feelings on that, but I still think I think overall it's gonna be, it just makes more sense. But anyway, here we are. Or like, you know, Pyromancer obviously goes in like the Mage deck or something like that. 2 is here. You should put a deer in every deck. That sounds like a card you need to make, a deer. Welcome in, Toot. Time to get swole. Let's do it. Alscathian Warriors also Creation, right? Yeah. I could also see him being in the Destruction deck, but we can talk about that as we get there. We eventually, I think we'll get everything that makes sense, and then after we get everything that makes sense, we will we will make sure that we have one of every card in every deck, is the way I'm thinking. We could go systematically, but I don't know, we'll see. Beats, why is your hat backward look cursed? Because you're just so used to seeing it the other way around. Or whale, alternatively. Oh, whale. Nuh-uh. An entropy whale, mayhaps. Right, you like to say a lot of things look cursed. Okay. I mean, yeah, probably the best approach would be just going like a card type at a time, but I don't know if that's the most fun. Like, it'd probably be more fun to just pick a god and like decide what cards work best, but I don't know. What do y'all think? What's y'all's vote? Look at all these cards, by the way. Look what we did. Oh wait, no, here. Here's what we need to do. We need to do a slow pan across all of them. Wait. Gotta get the mouse out of there. And we're out of alignment now. Hit the wrong button again. I think we should go super in depth thinking about strategies and synergies and strategies. I agree. I don't know why this game stutters when I have this on an OBS open. I wonder if it stutters if I don't have OBS open. I'm gonna have to think about that. It's got so different ways to utilize each card we add. I agree. But the question is, do we want to do God first approach, or do we want to just like go through every card? I think God first is probably the way to do it, because if we talk about every card, like Cave could go with anything, right? Nova, hello. Hi. That's me imitating your emote to the best of my ability. Do you want to play something? I'm bored. How about you do some deck building with me? That'd be a great thing to do while you're bored. Let's do God first, because that's true for every deck. Very cool seeing it all laid out, right? Isn't it pretty awesome? Look at all these cards. Nez, hi. Hello. Yay, deck building. Indeed. Yep, we're gonna finally get all these, like the starter decks put together. Because now we have all the cards that are finally done. Hoi, my dude. Hello. Hoi and well met. Desert, Coliseum, the God of War heroes in the war. Yes, all the sand things in God of War. And Oscathian Warrior too, I'd say. Maybe? You're working so hard, hard mans? Indeed, yeah, it's been a lot of stuff. Sure, let's start with God of War. Why not? Okay, so God of War, we want Marauder. We want Wasteborn. Sorry, I'll go over these because not everyone knows what all these are going to do. Wasteborn Barbarian. Okay, actually, no, start with the God. So this has been slightly changed. So now it's all your cards have the triggered effect before this card attacks gain 1 unit. So the biggest thing that's changed here is that this applies to every card, including Mal himself. So he can actually gain units in attacking and all lands and structures. So it's not just hero specific anymore. Frenzied Marauder, she can attack twice, so she basically can proc the God of War's thing twice. So it's why did Streamcord ping again? I couldn't tell you. It's only once. Only shows once. Just realized you can attack. That's insane. Yeah. That's one of the coolest parts about Mal. IMO. I only just realized that too. Yeah. Gotta work and attack. That is one of his best features. Especially now that his passive works with his ability now. I think that's kind of cool. Technically it's a lot weaker than it was, but I think it was from 2. So I basically went from 2 units per attack to 1 unit per attack. But now it works with all cards instead of just heroes. So here we are. So yeah, those 2 are the obvious ones. We also can go with, Coliseum, or whatever you want to call it, the Gladiator Arena. So when your heroes are destroyed, they're now put into your deck and shuffled. Then you shuffle your deck. So you basically just get your heroes back. And you also can destroy 2 heroes or a hero and move all its units to another hero. So that one makes sense because a lot of the time your heroes will end up with a lot of units with God of War because the Barbarian's going to gain 3 units every turn when they attack, and an additional 1 for every attack as I throw the card. So he's going to end up having a bunch of units on him, but can't really, transfer them to other heroes because you're not allowed to, right? So being able to use the Gladiator Arena to move those heroes onto another card is kind of nice. Yeah, teaching talking about doors. What's next? We got Wastelock Fortress is another good one. That's basically just continuing to double down on this. So whenever your heroes attack, they gain units as well. So 2 additional units. So yeah. What else do we do? I mean, we could do Quicksand. I don't know if it's necessarily like well, first we need Desert, right? Desert's just kind of obvious because that gives you more units if you have more heroes. What else? Why am I getting slight lag? I don't know why. Like my computer's been like ever so slightly laggy lately. I might have to like try to. I reinstalled installed new graphics drivers, but it's still kind of like lagging every now and then. I don't know why. Waste Haven's a decent one. When your hero dies, you gain 3 units. It's also supposed to kind of proc off of Gladiator Arena. So whenever you remove your hero, you gain 3 extra units. So I think that kind of works. It is deserty, right, as well. So it kind of works out with the whole theme. And then I guess, yeah, Quicksand, right? If it's going on any deck, it's this one. Quicksand, basically, after a monster or mini attacks, you can spend 1 unit to disable that card. And it costs additional units per use. So Waste Haven, yeah, it's also good for destruction. We can put it in there right away now that we're talking about it. What else do we want? So basically, I mean, Turtle is actually also huge for God of War because it's another card that can attack. Pretty much anything that can attack is a good one. Turtle is a great option. We have so many cards now that some gods might need to compete for cards. Yeah. It's kind of interesting, right? Because like there's actually a point where we're like, we might have to do non-optimal picks for some of this stuff, or like, you know, it'll be interesting. I think probably the last card for structures though is going to be Army Camp. It kind of has some overlap on the Gladiator Arena side, where it's like you can move your units off your heroes with the unit effect. But being able to attack twice, the structure can just attack twice, is just huge. Again, the more you can attack, the better off you are with Mal. So I think that's pretty huge. I think base decks aren't meant to be optimal. They're basically act as a tutorial for the god. Yeah. They should be very like, there is a deck I want to build where it's kind of somewhere between, it's like use God of War, but it almost uses the cards from the mage deck, because it's mostly because of Pyromancer. Because Pyromancer might honestly be a good one. Because Pyromancer attacks every time you draw a card, which I think would be pretty good in the war deck. That might just be one of the heroes we pick, though. You know, because that's pretty good. Can we add some obvious ones to Magic? Yeah, sure. Let's do that right away. I'm going to put Pyromancer in here. But yeah, Pyromancer, Spellblade. Spellblade attacks when you discard a card, which again makes sense for a deck that you are supposed to draw cards. For anyone who's, you know, just listening here, God of Magic draws an additional card at the start of each turn, and then you can spend 1 unit to place the a spell from your discard pile back into your deck and reshuffle. So anything that lets you draw you know, more cards. Yeah, I mean, maybe we just go through a lot of the obvious ones. Mountain is pretty obvious, right? Mage's Tower is pretty obvious. Mountain drawing additional cards, right? Mage's Tower. Mage's Tower letting you, again, draw additional cards, but you also can discard cards for a boon of units. Mage Academy, good call. Enchanted Grove and Valley are also two. So Enchanted Grove giving you units whenever a spell is played. That should be the symbol and not... Let me change that right away. While we're doing this, I want to catch some of these things. Give me half a second. I finally combined everything on the spreadsheet, and now it's just like, it's so large. Look at all these cards on the one spreadsheet now. It's crazy. We need to literally change Enchanted Grove. This should say, I believe, spells is the icon. We really need to change some of that too, but it's okay. Icon index spell is spells. Yeah. So that'll fix it. Okay. Spreadsheet. I know, right? It's crazy. The cool part is the program I use basically takes the spreadsheet and builds all the cards for me. I don't have to go into each individual, you know, Photoshop file or whatever and rebuild everything. That's the nice part about it. But yeah, Enchanted Grove gives you units whenever a spell is played. Valley, whenever a card is drawn. Again, you're drawing lots of cards, so getting units when you draw cards is a good thing. Mage Academy. Mage Academy is probably almost exclusively good for God of Magic. Your spells no longer have negative effects when played, and then When an ally plays a spell, you may take it and take it into your deck, then shuffle. That used to actually be worse. It used to be put into your discard pile, but I felt like that was kind of lame because you'd have to have God of Magic to make it work. So there's that. Pyromancer is definitely, sorry, I missed that. Pyromancer is definitely interesting for war. She's got high upkeep in Magic, and war gives her sustain to be less investment heavy. Yeah. And honestly, she might be a bad pick in the God of in God of Magic, because she basically like attacks 27 times and then just dies, you know? Because if you have a ton of card draw, you're basically just killing your Pyromancer. But I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to play in both of them. Maybe we'll find out that she doesn't really fit in God of Magic as much, but I think that's fine. All right, what's next? I guess we can talk about spells too, but a lot of spells are more like kind of up to your choice, honestly. Like spells kind of help fill a gap. Like I think like some attack spells are pretty good on Magic, but I think I want to put attack spells or spells above one. And now we'll just put them at the bottom. That's fine. Also talk about how C is good for multiple gods, different reasons. So between creation or harvest, what do you think is better? Since mermaid is creation, I feel like it should go there, but C and harvest synergy is great. True. I mean, pretty much, well, yeah, I mean, the field is like great, right? Especially being able to put it back in your deck. But honestly, field works both in harvest. It works in harvest, it works in destruction, and it works in creation. It kind of works in all of these, you know, it's one of those. It works great with C. I don't think I would put C. C wouldn't go into destruction because destruction can kill the field on its own without having to take the C and put it back into their deck. So, you know, that's decent for now. Let's do spells last because it feels like you can implement as wild cards to balance out the weakness. I agree. We'll put both field and C in both these decks for now, and then we'll see. Should we just knock out some more obvious ones? Like river obviously goes with devotion, right? Devotion might, honestly, I might need to change this to a base effect instead of a unit effect, but because I think that gets kind of confusing. Because it's technically not a unit effect on the god. It's kind of weird. Cave was altruism. Yeah, I believe so. Cave. So is Sky. Sky is also altruism. When your god loses units in any way other than allocating, gain 1 unit. So basically whenever you tank anything, you gain a unit, which is kind of nice. Frozen Woodland is destruction for sure. This one's like one of the few destruction ones that are specifically planned. So when one of your cards is destroyed, trigger any ability or triggered effect immediately. This guy is technically really good on Mal, or rather War. Yeah, technically, I mean, it's decent, right? You only can attack once per turn, so So it's not really specifically like great, but I'm gonna lurk without sound instead. All right, dude, no worries. I mean, I bet it's hard to do both things at the same time. So have a wonderful time, my friend. What is, I keep forgetting what Beach does. Draw a card from the top of your deck and play it. That's pretty much good. That's good for God of Creation, because so two things. God of Creation, when you play a card, you gain 1 unit, right? So anytime you can play more cards is going to be beneficial for God of Creation. Plus, they have a new ability when you play a structure with an ability, it activates for free once placed, which basically just makes Embassy of the Grand Accord amazing with them. Not only can you play cards in your player's allies play space, you can also play this card and then immediately play another card, which is kind of cool. I think C kind of has to be in God of Creation. Yeah, it's beneficial for creation. For everyone else, it's just gambling, basically. Yeah, true. So, hi, baby. Hello, little kitten. Do you just make a merp? Merp? There. Look at her over there. Just little ears. What else? What are other obvious ones we have? Oh, I guess we have a few obvious, well, actually, as far as spells go, growth is devotion for sure, because it basically triggers all your blue effects. So if you're in a pinch, it's great for that. That one's just kind of an obvious one. What other obvious ones do we have? Windmill. Once per turn during draw phase, you may play one of your cards, or place one of your cards you drew back and reshuffle it. Draw another. When this land has, or when a land has the structure. Wait, when the structure is on, gains any units. All units are also gained by your ally. That's probably Harvest, especially because it can get you lands and you're looking for those. So if you find a card that's not a land and you want one, you can potentially get that back. I think it was designed for Harvest, if I'm not mistaken. Militia is war for sure, although most things in the war deck can attack. Anyways, ironically, yeah, that's the thing. So it might actually not be good in war, because it's only like 3 or 4 things that can't actually attack. So it might honestly be more worth it in a different deck, but we can see. We'll see. I think we'll probably come back to that one. I think it was designed with war in mind. I think it might just not be. Maybe destruction for self implosion. Yeah, maybe, right? Well, technically you can just kill your own cards if you want to, but I guess you could get an attack out of it if you really wanted to. Oh, Druid, obviously, for Harvest. I also think Stone Golem's really good because he's a hero that can become a land, which means nice deck building today. Yeah, indeed, it's cool. Do you like my title? I thought my title was good, but we're in the presence of a bunch of Europeans, so they don't get it, you know? Back from lunch. Welcome back. But yeah, the fact that Stone Golem can become a land means you can gain additional land benefits, which is really good. I do like it, but Home Depot sells shit what it's true. So you get composite decking. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Swamp is definitely destruction. It's, you know, based around things dying. Swamp just feels right, even if it's not technically a synergy. Swamp. What about swamp? I usually say swamp and not swamp. Or swamp. My swamp. Swamp. Oh, Soldier's Barracks is 100% creation. That's you gain 2 units whenever a card is placed. Swamp. A swamp, a swamp, and a swoop. I don't know. Assassin's Altruism, you're right. Assassin gaining double damage. Assassin, King. I guess we can put all the heroes in creation, right? We want both Mermaid and Royal Knight and Osgathian Warrior. Honestly, we can fill out Devotion really quickly. Yeah, King 2. Yep. For here. We can fill out Devotion pretty quickly by just throwing in everything with blue effects. Like, their entire deck should all have blue effects, probably. Though I think like the cleric paladin combo is huge. So that might be one of the, like, yeah, right. Paladin and cleric, I feel like, are just a great combo. So I feel like Devotion's probably the one to put him in, right? Like, because the cleric is good in Devotion, and then the paladin kind of just goes well with the cleric. So I think that makes sense. I mean, they can go in really any deck, but I think this one makes the most sense. Thematically, what about Priest? Priest does need to belong in a deck. Yeah, I'd be okay with doing Priest and then probably Elvish Archer, honestly. Because Elvish Archer is, like, just great with Devotion, you know? And then Calm Hand Archer, whatever we call him. Calm Hand Archer probably also thematically going in Harvest makes some sense. Just because elves. And it's just a good card. But yeah. I think I did have Monk in the Magic deck, which is probably good. It doesn't really synergize necessarily, but Monk is just good in any deck. Oh, I also decided Shapeshifter is going in, or I thought Shapeshifter is actually really good for humanity because, well, any Shapeshifter is really good with C rather, right? Because if you have Shapeshifter out and you play a card, you can use C to bring the card back. And then Shapeshifter can still use the effect of the card that you put back. So I think that's kind of a cool interaction. Monk is low investment though, and Pyromancer is high investment. So it balances out. Yeah, also, the Magic deck doesn't usually have nearly as many units as some of the other decks. So having a card that can utilize a low amount of units at a higher potential is actually pretty good. So, and also they're all in the mountains. So yeah. I did think about Beast Tamer potentially being good in Altruism. If this hero has 5 or more units, Beast Tamer probably will need to be balanced because I think she's not necessarily the strongest, but we'll see. If this hero has 5 or more units on it, when a minion attacks, this hero this hero, it instead attacks an old god card using this card's units. So you could use altruism to tank these units, right? When it attacks. So you don't necessarily have to invest a ton on Beast Tamer. Potentially. I don't know. I feel like this might need to be a thing, but give it a unit generation spell or two. Devotion makes sense. Devotion also makes sense, but we're out of room on devotion. So I was thinking altruism, but we could, because like you can tank here, right? So I don't know. That's a thought. I'm thinking altruism. I'll put her there for now, and then we'll kind of go from there. Let's get some heroes in God of Destruction real quick. I think Iron Sentinel, Necromancer. Where's Necro? Necromancer. Ultras would take the damage for the Beast Tamer's effect. That's base actually. Yeah, right. Isn't that? I think that's kind of a cool interaction. Well, as they say, it's been 30 minutes, and therefore it's time to get quite swole. I'll tell you what. Not really on camera. There we go. I lost count, so I did extra. Altar goes where Necromancer goes, right? Also, both churches' devotion. No, altruism for churches. Be right. Necromancer, altar. 100% goes with Necromancer. Churches. Yeah, churches are altruism. Where are they? Oh, up here. At least I believe so. Let me double check what their abilities do. Your disabled cards now become enabled at the start of your next turn. You can disable a card at the start of your next turn, gain 2 units on your god. So you could disable a card. Yeah, you could disable a card preemptively to get units onto your god and then tank the attack, which is kind of cool. Before any card is attacked by a monster, you gain 1. Yeah, those are both good on thematically. They make more sense on, with devotion, but here we are. Wait, Whale Hunter's destruction synergy because of swamp, right? Wait, sorry. Also, Whale Hunter is a great tank. What deck needs a tank? Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, we gotta look at Whale Hunter and Mad Scientist. Whale Hunter, if a monster from this card's... Oh wait, let's read the ability first. Move a monster with a negative death effect to your side of the board. Disable it and gain units equal to its strength. If the monster from this card's ability is destroyed, the negative effect does not trigger and is placed into the Old Gods discard pile. If it's enabled, it returns to the Old Gods board and triggers the negative death effect. I don't know who that goes with. Potentially Destruction? I think you might be thinking of Mad Scientist ability, which works with minions. When a minion is disabled, destroy it. Or when a disabled minion is destroyed, it disables any adjacent monster or minion. Remove 2 units from this card and disable a minion. Swamp is minion only. I misread it. Yeah. Well, actually, anywhere Swamp goes, Witch's Hut should go, because Witch's Hut, it has a new effect. Basically, its unit effect is effects that require monsters or minions to be destroyed now work with either type. So it basically is a buff for both Necromancer and Swamp. Wait, why is Beast Tamer over here? Doesn't make sense. I probably grabbed the wrong card. It was probably supposed to be something else. I guess Mad Scientist kind of works in the Destruction deck, though. And maybe Musketeer. Because Musketeer can just kill things, which is good for destroying stuff, right? So these are probably good here. Whale Hunter, yeah, I'm trying to decide where Whale Hunter goes. I don't think it's Altruism. Could potentially, honestly, be War, just because it's like potentially some needed tankage. All right, let's quickly see what cards we don't have at this point, because we're actually getting to a point where we're filled up. We got these two. We don't have Whale Hunter. We don't have Bard. We put Priest in there. Yep, okay. Got all these, got all these, got all these. Okay, actually, these are the only 2 cards we don't have. I think originally I had Bard in Harvest because Bard requires a ton of units. That's why I thought it triggers for monsters too. Yeah, when the monster and Whale Hunter pull... When the Whale Hunter pulls and it dies, Swamp gets it. Yeah, so maybe we just put in Destruction. We can put that. We can do that. Actually, yeah, it's kind of cool. This probably needs to say as a hero. Move the monster with defeat effect to your side of the board. It's fine, doesn't really matter. Bard is for Harvest, sure. I want to play Harvest. Yeah, well, the thing is, Bard just having tons of units is kind of necessary, and Harvest is just like, its thing is just getting tons of units, you know? So, okay, that's actually all. We've used one of every hero, I believe, right? Am I missing anything? Oh wait, no, I wanted to put Iron Sentinel in here. Ooh. Remove Musketeer, maybe put them in Altruism. Altruism, you're supposed to have aggressive guys, right? Like, it's, the idea is like the more aggressive kind of cards kind of work better. So Also, actually, Musketeer has a good interaction with Church of the Desolate Dusk. When you your disabled cards now become enabled at the start of your next turn. So basically, Crackshot Musketeer can destroy everything every turn. You can just destroy a card once per turn, which is maybe way too broken and might need to be fixed. But, you know, here we are. Okay, that's kind of insane. Also, I like how the Blood Moon Assassin kind of matches the Church of the Dusk. It's kind of fun. Okay, yeah, so that's cracked. That's good. I like that. I didn't even think about this interaction between these two cards. That's kind of fun. Okay. All right, we only need one more card for God of War. I think is the only thing we need. Ultram is actually S tier, true. I agree. Who do you think for War, Tuna? Oh wait, we don't have Merchant. Shit. I was missing Merchant. And I say wherever Merchant goes, we probably should have a trading post. Merchant actually kind of makes sense in God of War because Merchant can attack twice per turn. Granted, it's not getting the effect from God of War, but it is pretty decent. And so we could potentially do trading post instead of something, but I do kind of want Merchant somewhere. Do we have any duplicates? I don't think we have any duplicates. We actually might not be able to fit one of these cards. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait, we have Archer as a duplicate. Pyromancer is also a double. Archer and Pyromancer. Yeah, I guess we just get rid of... Well, no, because the problem is if we get rid of Pyromancer here, I still want Trading Post. So maybe what we do is we take... Ooh. No, well... Harvest seems cool. Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. Both Bard and Calm Hand Archer are both like game-ending cards. So I think maybe we take Calm Hand Archer out of here and put both these in here. Because the fact that Harvest is gaining tons of units, it's kind of nice to have Trading Post to trade it with other people. Yeah, Archer with Devotion is just too good. I think this is the play. Again, this is kind of part of the cool thing is that we can't have a perfect deck, which is actually a good thing because it means we have to choose something. Like there's a concession that has to be made, right? How many heroes do we have? I'm kind of curious about this for a second. We have 26 heroes. I'm just curious. Oh wait, 26 divided by 4. Yeah, it's 6.5. Right, interesting. Okay. Yeah, we only have I think we only have one card that's a duplicate now. And then we get one extra card that's duplicate in War. I can't believe we fit it all in, right? Yeah. We need one more hero for God of War. Part of me's like Spellblade, but I don't want 2 cards from Magic in that deck. And also, I don't think you really want to be getting rid of more cards. What's gaining like benefits from attacking? Mermaid's like anti-synergy. I mean, Assassin could be good. I mean, Merchant isn't bad. Merchant wouldn't be terrible. Merchant could be a decent option. Monk is also a pretty good option, but also, again, something in Magic. Magic and War seem to weirdly have like similar whatevers. Why does it keep sending before I'm done writing? I don't know. I think Assassin, because Assassin gains units and also kind of feels thematically like it makes sense. I think Assassin. There was one other thing I was thinking. Magic deck should have library in it. That's the wrong deck. Because A, you're getting more cards, and B, you're able to trade your cards with allies, which I feel like is a good interaction, right? Devotion 100% is getting Bridge, because Bridge, and also Hollow Ground, because it's one of the few blue effect cards. Lands, rather. What's Quarry? Interesting. Right. Bridge. I think it's fine if you YOLO some decisions, because playtesting is where we'll see how well those decisions paid off. I agree. Okay, let's look through all the structures and decide if any of these should specifically go with something. Well, we did this one, did this one, did this one, did this one, did this one. Expedition Vessel 100% goes with Harvest. Oh, my cat. Oh, wait, no, I just didn't have the thing pointed in the right direction. I'm like, my cat's gone. It's like, no, that's just the floor. Ads are coming in 3 minutes. Say it ain't so. Yeah, Expedition Vessel just lets you draw more lands, which is literally just Harvest 100%, 200% even. Place heroes out of view because it's not needed anymore. True. Is there a way to like just instantly consolidate them? Can I like... Oh, I just want to know if there's a way to... I know you can pick them up and shake them, but is there an opposite of split? No. All right, well. Okay. Airship we need. Did I put Mage's Tower and got a Magic deck? Oh, I did. Okay. I was like, how did I forget that? Army camp we have. Village we don't have. Farm we don't have. Butcher's hut we don't have. Butcher's hut? Butcher, just butcher. The old butcher's hut. These ones we don't have. Embassy and anything? Yeah, I put it in, that's in the God of Creation. Farm definitely goes in Magic, and Butcher definitely goes in Destruction. I think those two make perfect sense, right? We're about to hit an ad break. Village, probably Harvest. I could potentially see Airship going in with Creation. Partly because if you play it, you can instantly move one of your heroes to your ally side of the board, which is kind of fun. There's no real synergy technically, because when you move your card to the other side of the board and move it back, it doesn't count as placing. Moving is not placing, but it at least works with the ability and is kind of a, like, I want to try to have a like team interaction card per thing. So I think that makes sense. But we do have a bunch of cards to fill in here. Give it some thanks while we take our ad break, and I will be back in 3 minutes for another hour of ad-free viewing. Anyway, be right back.
Randomness. It's what makes card games so interesting to play. The simple act of shuffling and drawing cards.
What a relevant video.
Outcomes, providing a unique and exciting experience every time. But what happens when this randomness becomes a detriment to the game? And how do you deal with that? Being able to address this issue can often mean the difference between a good card game and a bad one. Even the most popular games aren't immune to these pitfalls. Take Magic the Gathering, for example, one of the most popular trading card games of all time. It's not uncommon to find yourself drawing nothing but lands, or conversely, having no lands at all, leaving you with a unplayable hand. On the flip side, randomness can swing in the opposite direction too, drawing an incredible hand, leading you to completely dominate your opponents. While it's certainly fun for the player with the winning hand, it can be less enjoyable for everyone else at the table. So let me tell you how I counteracted it while working on my own game, and the battle I fought against inconsistency. In my game, players compete against the Old God, a collection of cards that present various challenges. Unfortunately, the balance of this deck was wildly unpredictable, often either leading to completely overwhelming the players, or failing to be a challenge at all, making the game unenjoyable either way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For those of you who aren't familiar with my game, which, let's be honest, is probably most of you, you might be wondering what the heck an Old God is and what the game is actually as a whole. Or maybe you don't care. I don't know your life. I'm gonna talk about it anyway. So, in brief summary, here's how the game works. Armies Against Entropy is a cooperative resource management trading card game. Players place cards like heroes, structures, and lands to create synergies for themselves and also their allies. They then move units generated by their cards to enhance the power of the cards that they deem most necessary, all while battling the Old God, a deck of automated cards designed to dismantle the player's forces and serve as the main threat of the game. Now that you kind of have an understanding of the game, let's dive into how randomness became a problem. As I said before, the Old God deck was designed to present various challenges. This deck featured a large number of weaker cards and a few stronger ones. In theory, this meant the players would face a constant onslaught of minor threats, while occasionally encountering some much more intimidating ones. Let's talk a little more specifically though. Typically, the Old God would draw around 3 cards per turn with a total deck of 86 cards, 10 endlings in the deck as the weakest card. This design meant you were much less likely to draw something threatening like 3 Ravengers. The idea is that the Old God would have a nice assortment of cards due to its distribution. At least that's what I thought. However, there were many instances where this wasn't the case, and the Old God either felt pitiful or, conversely, an unstoppable onslaught of destruction. Speaking of unstoppable onslaughts of destruction, you should subscribe. I don't know how those two things correlate, but so what was the solution? Well, this came to me while I was trying to fix an entirely different problem, and that problem was the Abyssal Horde card. This card was a hell of my own making, and the bane of my existence for so many different reasons. But the main one that we'll be focusing on today was trying to solve an issue where it would gain in power every attack. Units were how the player gained power, but we didn't really want a similar mechanic for the old god because we didn't really want to figure out how these units would be allocated each turn. The Abyssal Horde was somewhat of an exception to this rule, as it stole units from player cards. While this is a cool idea, it kind of fundamentally broke the game. Instead, we wanted to find another way for this card to gain in power using a different mechanic, while still sort of keeping the same identity. We had considered making the Abyssal Horde card duplicate itself with every attack, which could work well. However, that mechanic felt a little more suited to a digital version of the game rather than a physical one. And while I do have aspirations to make a digital version of this game down the line, I really want to make this game more functional for both formats. So the solution was a drastic one. Remember the Endling I mentioned earlier, the weakest card in the deck? Well, we removed it from the main deck completely and put it in its own entirely new deck called the Minion deck. Are you kidding me? Did you ever consider how the Endling would feel about this? Being displaced from its home? What? No, it's a good thing. It helps. Wait, did you gain
I'm back.
sentience? Yeah. What of it, Nathaniel? What? No, it's nothing. It's just
Okay. Thinking airship might make sense in altruism. I feel like make more sense in other decks and transfer those gods to altruism. Well, so altruism can tank anything regardless of whether it's on their side or not. So it's not just for their cards. They can tank ally attacks. So because altruism is multiple, but I think in the opposite sort of end of that, right, is that, and sort of to your point, is that technically you could take your cards and bring them over to your ally because you need your heroes less than your ally does, you know? So that could work. Potentially. We can put that there, you know, for thematics too. Devotion, I think, can be pretty easy here. Like, any blue effect. Any of these work in devotion, right? We just need to pick. Well, we already have bridge. Witch's Hut doesn't really do anything for us. I would argue farm is probably the best one because you and your ally being able to draw an additional card per turn is kind of insane. I was gonna say, honestly, farm might be really good, and farm might actually be one that goes in here because being able to have more cards in your hand to play might be ideal for creation, right? That seems potentially right. Yeah. That or windmill, I would say. Well, this is the potential pile. I don't really think Necromancer Altar, even though it's really good. I'm kind of for some reason not feeling it. I don't know. These are the potentials. What about, well, I guess maybe let's look at all the potentials and then we'll yeah, that's fair. Let's look at all the potentials and then decide what fits where. Which I guess is just this deck, and altruism. What else would be good in altruism? Village is a possibility. I don't know if you're necessarily saving units though. You're more putting them in your, just diverting them to your god instead, you know? But that is a fair point. That's a potential. Trading post. We should do army camp in devotion because of the devotion. Sorry, the move units off of your hero's paladin combo is cool, right? Because then you can get a ton of units on your paladin, and then once you get this unit effect active, you can move all those units off. So it additionally makes even more sense why paladin is in the devotion deck. I think that's a cool one. So that one I'm actually going to guarantee. Cool. As long as Tuna likes it, that makes me happy, you know? I'm trying to think what else works here. For some reason, part of me is like, Embassy might be decent for altruism, but not really. They kind of just need unit gen so they can you know, potentially, honestly, Butcher is another option, I think, for because the more units that they can get, the better off they are for tanking stuff, right? Like, you're kind of holding back tanking, and then you use your big guys to try to like take stuff out. So one of those, I think. Okay. What duplicates do we have? Well, Barn is potentially in a bunch. So what was this one do again? Once per turn, you may draw and place one card you drew back, reshuffle it, and draw another. That's arguably like not necessarily the best. But farm isn't, well, farm's pretty good. Farm is like synergy. I think we do farm there, and then maybe we don't do farm and devotion. Weird how we made so many cards and there still some overlap. It's insane to think about it. Also funny I say we. Hey, we all did it together. It's a group effort. Well, yeah, there's a lot more overlap because there's less of these, right? There wasn't a lot of overlap with heroes. We ended up making a ton more heroes than anything else. I'm gonna say no trading post in there. Don't we have village more than once? No, we only have one village. So let's put village in here. I think they're gonna need the units. And then that leaves us, we won't do farm a third time. Part of me is thinking these two. I think that. How do we feel about that? Trading post and Necromancy Altar. Because Necromancy Altar is just good, right? Like, if your heroes die and they come back, like, you can tank forever. It's kind of nice. Do you remember my idea for an insta-kill cannon? Do you feel like that would fit anywhere, hypothetically? I don't think we need to make more cards. I mean, technically, so the weird part about that is the insta-kill cannon would be a unit effect, which I don't like the way I would think of it as a unit effect. So it gain units everything or every turn, and then it would be able to, or maybe it's an ability. No, it's an ability with unit gen, and then they can't move off. Humanity deck would probably be good because you could just play the card and it would instantly trigger because it's an ability. Right? So that could technically work. We could substitute that with, well, farm's really good here. We'd probably substitute it with like airship if we were to do something like that. Okay, lands. Let's move on. I think we did we get every structure? Library we got, camp. Yes, I believe we got every structure. I mean, I'm okay with adding new cards. I don't know. I've been thinking about that a bit. But if we move to BOB, I don't want to do new player cards until after that, you know? And there'll probably only be redeems. I'll probably bring the redeems back after BOB, and then, yeah. Lands. This one's juicy, indeed. Okay. What lands haven't we used? Let's start with that. Quarry we haven't used. Field we used like multiple times. Beach we've used. Sky, sea. Quicksand, I believe I put in war. Yeah. Valley, river. We haven't used graveyard. We haven't used tundra, which is wild because tundra is crazy. Tundra is probably the best land in the game, but you know, here we are. Plains we haven't used. Forest we haven't used. More player gods feels like an old post-old god patch. Yeah, I wouldn't mind just like throwing them in there. And I think I want to do the old god patch a little bit better than we did this one. I want to do it per old god rather than doing it as one giant update. I want to do like, okay, we're doing first we do one for null, and then once null's done, we do one for so cool, and then we kind of do it one at a time rather than do 6 different updates rather than you know, one massive one. Graveyard is probably destruction, right? I can see graveyard being destruction and or God of Magic, because Mage Tower Graveyard's a pretty good combo. I could also potentially see Quarry being decent for destruction. In fact, I kind of like Quarry maybe instead of Field, because we already have Field in here twice. Because Quarry basically is Necromancer Altar, but for structures. So this way you could destroy your structures and keep them. Right? So I think I might do that. Especially because we have it 3 times already. So basically doing patches, one difficulty at a time. That's kind of what I'm thinking. It makes sense since the player doesn't interact with the old god decks in the same way they do with player ones. I mean, it probably would have made sense to just do one player deck at a time, but it kind of is a little bit different. You're right. But I think old god deck is fine, you know. like just doing it one at a time, maybe 2 to start. I don't know, but I'd rather not like drag it out for like 6 months like this one has been. Tundra, I want to put with probably with Village, because Tundra Village is just a amazing combo, and that kind of gets Ultrism the units it needs. I feel like Plains or Forest probably go here, maybe even both. But yeah, I feel like that could have led to player cards being too tailored. We kind of had to do some puzzle solving to approach, which made things interesting. Yeah, that's true. Really gave each god their own identity. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We could give God of Devotion. I mean, also give him Quarry, because it's a unit effect one. And that seems pretty good. God of Devotion's just never gonna die. He's just a secret tank. We could give God of Devotion Mountain. It is the only other blue effect, but I don't know if they really need card draw, you know? Like maybe something else is better. And the invisible strength of faith, indeed. It feels right to just give him all freaking blue effects, but I don't know. You know, let's give him a higher unit gen land, I think. Something that's like honestly, maybe even just plains. Put all, okay. We have Quarry, which we did. There's literally 3. It's these 3, and then River is like boosts unit. It boosts whatever. So that's it. It's literally all the ones they have. I just don't know if Mountain's really super useful for them. Like, more unit gen might be more worth it than a Mountain, right? It's kind of like a gap filling. Like maybe, does it need unit gen? Maybe a little bit to like attack and stuff. I mean, it doesn't need card draw is kind of what I'm getting at, right? Like, especially if you end up getting Necromancy, Altar, and Quarry, like then your cards are just going back to your hand. So I think a little bit of unit gen would be nice. What are some high unit gen ones? Field is pretty good. I don't want to put Field in another one. I mean, it's Tundra. Oh, we already did Tundra for them, didn't we? Wait, did we do Tundra for them? No, it's either Tundra, Plains, or Forest, I think, are the... These are the options for the empty slots, or the empty slot, I would say. Thinking about Investing those units into Archer, so it's good actually. Yeah, exactly. Because it's their main attacker boosting is great. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's one of these. Tundra's probably the best, especially because it's a deck that really wants its structures to be active. So probably Tundra. I'm gonna go with Tundra. Okay, humanity has like this weird, crazy, you know, field, sea, beach combo. Well, the beach isn't really part of the combo, but could be if you draw the card right. They probably just need something consistent, honestly. Planes, yeah, exactly. Something consistent, basic planes. I like it. War. I also could see giving Harvest Turtles, because I've given them that in the past and it's been pretty good, especially because like they're used lands a lot. So I almost kind of want to do take planes out and put a turtle in, because they're not super attack heavy. So having, because you try to get lots of lands out, so having lands that can attack are actually pretty huge. So I think actually we're gonna do that. And I picked forest because it's thematic. Did someone say turtle? He did. Okay. We just need one for altruism and one for war. Let's look at war. What one does war want? We already have desert, quicksand, and turtle. We could really go with the sand theme and pick beach, but I don't know if that's really good with war necessarily. It's not, you know, it's never bad, but cave could honestly be decent, but well, problem is cave, you actually want to not be the person going first. You want to be a defensive player with cave. And war usually just wants to kick the crap out of things. I could potentially see Frozen Wasteland, actually, or Frozen Woodland. Because when one of your cards is destroyed, you trigger any of your abilities or your triggered effects. And I believe they have a good amount of triggered effects and abilities, right? I mean, you could at least trigger, you know, something to gain 3 units or make a free attack with Pyromancer, or technically, I guess every card has a triggered effect now, too, with God of War. It's kind of weird, but you could use this for free, which doesn't really... I don't even know how that works. Doesn't really work. You can use quicksand for free, which is kind of cool. But it's only after a card attacks. Quicksand maybe should be a triggered effect. No, it has to be ability because it's an option. I don't know. There's going to be some weird stuff like that that's going to come up, but Frozen Woodland's okay. Sky is okay also. Sky means every time your god attacks, he gains a unit. which is pretty decent, but I don't know how much unit gen that really is. It's probably better than Frozen Wasteland, though, honestly. Hollow Ground could be good just to give them like a support card of some sort, but it's kind of like feels out of place. Graveyard, maybe. We have Graveyard in 2 decks already, though, so I don't know. Swamp, maybe. Because Swamp, you're killing lots of minions when you're attacking a lot. Okay, those are the options. Out of these, I think one of these two. Honestly, I think Sky is the way is still good, just not fundamental as Altruism. Yeah, true. I think it's either Sky or Swamp. Because Swamp would also be pretty good. Because you're attack heavy, right? So you're going to be killing lots of minions. But I suppose... I think Swamp is actually probably better. Because Sky is only averaging you... Sky will always average you 2 units, more or less. But it does require you kill... I think Swamp's better. Swamp is kind of insane, actually. Yeah, I think Swamp's better. Sky is decent. Don't get me wrong. But I think Swamp is better. Swamp used to be so much more powerful when minions didn't stack. Because now you only get it whenever a minion's stacked, it counts for the entire stack of minions because a stack counts as 1 card. But now Swamp has been nerfed to the ground. Okay, well, I guess that's not going in any other deck. Because last one is Altruism. And I think this could just literally be anything. Every land that hasn't been used twice. Okay. Tundra's twice. We can't do this one because it's already been used. That one's been used twice. Field has been used twice. Frozen Woodland has not been used twice, although it feels kind of anti-synergy. Beach has not been used twice. Sea has been used twice. Sky is in the deck, so it doesn't matter. Quicksand. Quicksand actually could be really... Actually, it might be Quicksand. Quicksand just instantly feels like it's right. We'll talk about that in half a second, but I think it's Quicksand. No, it's just going to be Quicksand. So the idea is after any card gets hit, you can disable them. So you're just tanking with your god and then just disabling the cards with Quicksand. Right? That's kind of sick. After Monster Mania attacks a card, you may spend 1 unit to disable it. Yeah, that's sick. Let's do that. That might even be better than War Deck. It almost feels like it's meant for this deck the more I think about it. Now, the only thing that makes me slightly sad is that we don't have the Mad Scientist Quicksand combo that I thought of. We could technically put Mad Scientist in with the War deck, which might be better. Because the cool part about Mad Scientist is, so when a minion is disabled, it just when a disabled minion is destroyed, it disabled by any it disables any adjacent monster or minion, which means when it attacks, you can use Quicksand to disable. Yeah, I mean, maybe we just do that. I think that's kind of cool. It's not maybe that good of a combo, but it's kind of interesting, right? Because like something attacks one of your things, you use Quicksand to disable it, and then if something kills the disabled thing, your Mad Scientist passive still triggers. So I think that's kind of interesting. It's a synergy between those two. So that's fun. Okay, we did it. We did use every single land, right? I believe. Cave, quarry, field, frozen woodland, beach, sky, quicksand, enchanted grove. Okay, I made sure we put that there. Valley, river, hollowed ground, yes. Turtle, quarry, or not quarry, graveyard, tundra, desert, swamp. Sorry, swamp. I mean swamp. Swamp. Plains, yes. Mountain, yes. Forest, yes. Okay. We did it. Spells. It is time. I'm gonna move these below here because it's gonna be easier. Let's look through, see if there's any obvious ones. Arcane Construct is actually really good with Harvest, because if you're, you're trying to build up, your there's a few things, right? You're trying to build up your lands. So if you need something tanked, like you don't have a hero, you can play Arcane Construct. So that's kind of nice. But it also can be played as a land, so you can actually get an additional land out of it, which I think is kind of cool. On to the wild cards. I guess Magic could be first because that's what the deck is about. Yeah, true. I think Magic, so Magic's all about spell slinging, right? Like you're trying to you're basically destroying the enemy with spells, right? So I think you kind of want Barrage of Magic Missile and Vanish from Existence, right? Barrage Magic Missile kills low level targets. Vanish from Existence kills high level stuff, right? I think that's kind of easy peasy lemon squeezy for that. Unit generating spell, yeah, I was thinking that too. So either we could do counter offensive or we can do raise an army. I kind of like raise an army for this, partly because it gets more use out of Magic Academy. Because you don't use the negative effect on that, right? So if you have Magic Academy, you don't have to discard a card to get unit gen. So I think that's kind of cool. Counteroffensive, of course, is you gain more units if there are more minions, but I don't know. Counterfights with Osgathian seems it fits into God of Creation. Yeah, I think that would... I think it probably works. Technically, it's anti-synergy with the Knight, but I think that's fine. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. You can just play this before you play your Knight, you know? You just have to be smart. I don't know what the last one for God of Magic is. It could be cognitive enhancement because it lets you cycle through all your cards and you could literally just empty your entire deck so you can just constantly spam your other ones if you really wanted to. But I don't know if that's really like wise, you know? Wait, we talked about some anti-synergies that we... Wait, are we Wait, we talked about some anti-synergies that make planning interesting. What was the example we used? I think that may have been it, honestly. I think that may have been the Royal Knight and the counter offensive. But there was a few other things, like, I mean, Cave is like just like you don't want to be like an aggressive thing and attack first if you have Cave, you know, or like there was another one and now I'm forgetting it, but perfect then. Yeah, I think it works out. I think Catalyst is an easy one to go with, like probably God of Destruction. Catalyst being trigger all red effects one time and disables one of your triggered effect cards. So you get to trigger any of these. Seems pretty good. Could potentially be a war one, but I think triggering any of your especially because God of Destruction just also has a red effect in general, so I think that's kind of cool. What's Hypnotic Melody then? Choose the targets of all monsters and minions of the current attack phase, then only attack one. Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of these really are wild cards. Entangle's kind of cool with Mad Scientist. Again, that sort of synergy where it's disable a hero structure or disable a wasteland, ruins, or monster. And if they are enabled before, or if they're destroyed before they're enabled, then the negative death effect does not trigger. It does seem like maybe like a little more additional stuff. Like maybe it's too much because like then we have more of that, but like it's too much of the same thing potentially. I don't know. Does divination provide more use somewhere? I wanted to say it did. I mean, divination might just be like an altruism thing, right? Because you have to plan how you're going to tank stuff. So I feel like divination's probably like the most altruism sort of spell. It's like, okay, I need to plan how I'm going to tank the next, 2 turns. Divination. Huzzah. It could also be kind of crazy on Magic because you could in theory just like if you spam this card, it's kind of interesting because you can reveal the top 5 cards, place 1 card at the bottom of the deck, and then the rest at the top in any order. And then you can just kind of keep drawing it and placing all the bad cards at the bottom, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if I want that to be like the base gameplay of Magic, but I think that's kind of a cool potential option. Like, it's a decent spell to spam now. With its ability, especially if you have Magic Academy, it kind of makes it kind of crazy. So that's kind of sick, but I'm not sure. School maybe too powerful in that sense. You still need to like draw the card though, right? Like you're not going to get the card every turn like that. Like you still need to draw it. Yeah, altruism, really appreciate it. I agree. I think that's good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. Oops, not that one. These are all the ones we haven't used yet. I think Entangle was originally a harvest spell because it's nice again because harvest is a very like ramping effect sort of deck. So the idea is that you can kind of bide your time by deactivating something and then like, you know, not necessarily. It also is Entangle, it's vines and stuff. It feels thematically right? But there's so much card draw and Magic that you could draw it that it's what worries me. Honestly, I feel like that's what makes it just a good card in that deck. You know, I kind of want to try it. Ooh, can you put a land back in the hand when it's disabled with C? I believe so, yeah. Yeah. I remember talking about that, but yeah, I think it just, when you put it back in your hand, it just undisables it, right? I'm gonna say divination. I think that's kind of interesting. It might be too powerful, but I want to try it. I think that's a cool one. It makes spamming divination kind of interesting. It's a good spam worthy spell. Hello, it is I, spam worthy. I don't know what I'm saying. It could have been cognitive enhancement, but like eventually cognitive enhancement becomes not worth it, in my opinion. So cognitive enhancement, on the other hand, is probably a great harvest spell because again, it lets you just draw a land if you need it or something else, right? You have a lot of stuff that lets you draw land. This lets you draw any card. So if you're, you know, really in the need for your expedition vessel or something, I think that harvest kind of like really depends on needing a specific card type. So I think cognitive enhancement goes there. I do like it, but that's scary. Yeah. So harvest can negate the drawback of entangle. Oh, what is the drawback of it? When this card is played, disable one of your lands till the end of your next turn. Yeah, in theory, if you use C, you can throw your entangled card back into your deck. That's kind of cool. That is a good point. Also, C's kind of, I forgot about the combo with C where you can just put cards back into your deck to play them again. So like if you run, once you run out of lands, Like if you have your entire board full of lands, you can use C to put your land back in your deck and then play it again to gain the number of units equal to the number of lands out on the board, which is just kind of insane. So yeah, I love that. C is kind of crazy in certain situations. Sometimes it's not, but sometimes it's kind of insane. Like you have a situation where you're like, man, I didn't get any lands this turn. Well, I'm using C to put it back in my hand. Making Harvest a constantly running engine. Really cool. Yeah, it might be too powerful, but I guess we'll see. I can just imagine like the very like anime card game moment. Well, I use C to put the card back in my deck, but then I play it again to gain an additional 10 units. Send Reinforcements is a decent devotion one if you're not getting the units on cards you need. Like maybe you've put too many onto devotion and your hero is about to die, so you're like, I need to send reinforcements all the way to like protect my priest or my archer or something. And it also is usable for the paladin, moving units off of your paladin if you can't get your Osgathian army camp to max units. So I think that's a good one there. Charm works kind of nicely on God of War because it gives you another hero basically to attack with. Just doubling down, you know. Let's talk about Militia because it's a puzzle. Yeah. Arguably Militia should be used on a high unit count hero or high unit count deck that doesn't have much attack, you know? Like, honestly, Harvest is probably a prime thing for Militia. In fact, it's absolutely insane on Harvest. Because in theory, you could just take all your lands and then attack with every single land you have and just kill everything. Militia might be too strong. It probably should be like a card or two and not any card. That's probably gonna have to be balanced, but because we're trying to break the game, it's going in Harvest. I think that's just the easy one. Since you have so much Unigen, you can afford to disable, exactly. And then you can use C to put all the cards back into your deck and then play them later. You could play it, have 3 lands attack, put them all back in your deck, and play them all the next turn. Oh, it's gonna be insane. Okay, C is such a blue eyes white dragon, true. It's kind of unassuming though, like you would be like, oh yeah, it's like okay, you know? It's an okay card. Actually, C is technically probably better than some of the lands that are actually in the Magic deck. Like C probably should be in the Magic deck, but it's not going in there because whatever. It's honestly, its secondary effect, like its base effect may have to just go away, and then its secondary, like its ability just stays. Because on top of being able to put cards in your back in your hand and then do some crazy crap with that, you can gain units equal to half the number of your cards. So it's just kind of whack. Anyway, we got some more cards to put in here. Let's just consolidate these so we can see them. Some of those streams have been talking a lot. I am dropping frames. What the heck is going on? I really need to figure out what's wrong with my computer because it's I've been getting like slight lag spikes. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the new tabletop simulator update or something. Oh wait, it's Chrome? Do I have too many Chrome tabs open? Am I one of those guys now? Yeah, why is Chrome using so much? Is it just because I'm streaming? I guess so. That's crazy. Maybe I just need to buy more RAM. Anyway. It's a shame Harmonic Melody doesn't have a space to fit with Harvest now because it's where the Bard is. True. I don't think Harvest really needs that either, honestly. Hypnotic Melody kind of is like probably Devotion or I would say Devotion or Destruction. Devotion because like you might have something like Archer that has a ton of units on it, and then like something's gonna attack strongest. You don't want that to die, so instead you want it to attack your Paladin and you play Hypnotic Melody. Yeah, I agree. Devotion fits. Okay, you agree with me. Okay, here's one thing I want to do with Dispel. Let me quickly look at I want to look at all of these. Who has the most to lose from a curse? You know what I mean? Each player removes 5 units from any number of cards in play. Controller cannot drop below 1. Destroy a card. Change your hand. Random group of monsters. All players must discard a card from their hand. That was not one of them. Terrify. All players must move 10 units to any cards. Right. Wrath attacks twice. Dark Ultimatum. Also, the drawback doesn't really do anything to Archer, right? When this card is played, disable the god until the end of your next turn. It's pretty bad, honestly. I mean, it means that if you have 10 units on here, because the nice part about Archer is, or Devotion and Archer, is if Devotion has 10 units on it, the Archer can have 2 units on it and still get the effect of like, they can like attack 2 minions per turn. Misremembered a drawback. Yeah, I honestly didn't remember what it was either. It might be too powerful. Disabling your god. I almost don't like disabling your god as one of the effects. I might get rid of that because it is really annoying, but this is also super duper powerful. So shrug. Anyway. After looking at these, I think Dispel goes to Altruism because it allows you to tank the things you can't actually tank. You know, Devotion, or sorry, Altruism can tank literally anything except for some of the random stuff curses have, right? I think that makes sense. When this card is played, you cannot play spells until the end of your next turn. Sure. Screw those curses. Yeah, indeed. The rest of these are kind of like, well, do we maybe give Desperate Mage Shield to War because like they're very aggressive, so maybe having something defensive is kind of nice. I think. I think that makes sense. I think that checks out. I feel like Demolish and Scorched Earth are kind of like they could work in anyone's deck. I don't know whose deck they are the best in though, you know? Like who doesn't want, you know, any sort of, you know, it's just kind of like one of those things where they could just go anywhere. Beats, do you know that Desperate Mage's Shield are made of Desperate Mage's Shield? Grot, do you know that you have a problem? I think so. The defenselessness of War comes from good sustain on attacks and the disabled cards to wait. From the stand on attacks and disabled cards. Yeah. That would fit into destruction thematically. True. Grot, sit down. This is an intervention. Sorry, did you like that, Grot? I'm not sorry. That's true. These would fit with destruction for sure. Yeah, I like that. Well, it doesn't really synergize in any sort of way. Sit-ups. All right, I guess we'll do sit-ups as the ads play. And by that I mean push-ups. Oh, Kitten, are you trying to be star of the show? Yeah, well, you are star of the show. We get it. Nah. Come here. Come here. Get over here. Get over here. This is the special ad content that you don't normally get. I'm just kidding. Okay. All right, I'm gonna take my break. BRB.
Randomness. It's what makes card games so interesting to play. The simple act of shuffling and drawing cards creates unpredictable outcomes, providing a unique and exciting experience every time. But what happens when this randomness becomes a detriment to the game? And how do you deal with that? Being able to address this issue can often mean the difference between a good card game and a bad one. Even the most popular games aren't immune to these pitfalls. Take Magic the Gathering, for example, one of the most popular trading card games of all time. It's not uncommon to find yourself drawing nothing but lands, or conversely, having no lands at all, leaving you with a unplayable hand. On the flip side, randomness can swing in the opposite direction too, drawing an incredible hand, leading you to completely dominate your opponents. While it's certainly fun for the player with the winning hand, it can be less enjoyable for everyone else at the table. So let me tell you how I counteracted it while working on my own game, and the battle I fought against inconsistency. In my game, players compete against the Old God, a collection of cards that present various challenges. Unfortunately, the balance of this deck was wildly unpredictable, often either leading to completely overwhelming the players, or anyway, So, in brief summary, here's how the game works. Armies Against Entropy is a cooperative resource management trading card game. Players place cards like heroes, structures, and lands to create synergies for themselves and also their allies. They then move units generated by their cards to enhance the power of the cards that they deem most necessary, all while battling the Old God, a deck of automated cards designed to dismantle the player's forces and serve as the main threat of the game. Now that you kind of have an understanding of the game, let's dive into how randomness became a problem. As I said before, the Old God deck was designed to present various challenges. This deck featured a large number of weaker cards and a few stronger ones. In theory, this meant the players would face a constant onslaught of minor threats, while occasionally encountering some much more intimidating ones. Let's talk a little more specifically though. Typically, the Old God would draw around 3 cards per turn with a total deck of 86 cards, 10 endlings in the deck as the weakest card. This design meant you were much less likely to draw something threatening like 3 Ravengers. The idea is that the Old God would have a nice assortment of cards due to its distribution. At least that's what I thought. However, there were many instances where this wasn't the case, and the Old God either felt pitiful or, conversely, an unstoppable onslaught of destruction. Speaking of unstoppable onslaughts of destruction, you should subscribe. I don't know how those two things correlate, but So what was the solution? Well, this came to me while I was trying to fix an entirely different problem, and that problem was the Abyssal Horror card. This card was a hell of my own making, and the bane of my existence for so many different reasons.
I get done.
But the main one that we'll be focusing on today was trying to solve an issue where it would gain in power everything.
Oops, strong one. There we go. Hi, baby. This little head right here. Little ears. Pressured setups. Is there a drawback that just destroys a card? Like a drawback that destroys one of your cards? Well, thinking about it, like I was thinking about it while I was on my break there. The spells should be helping with whatever you're lacking in, and God of Destruction should be very good at destroying monsters and minions, whereas these kind of help counteract that, right? Or maybe it's more of a war thing. These might also be good in war, because Destruction is kind of good at killing anything. These also could be good at war. We'll consider that. Tuna do setups. She help. Fine. I meant to say Luna. That's funny. Too late. You made me work out. To be fair, I think you did say you were gonna do stuff with me every time I did it, right? Because I'm already perfect. Yeah, I agree, lol. What's your favorite deck so far? I'm getting drawn into Harvest more and more. Haven't really been paying attention. How dare you, Grot? You're fired. Give him a recap. Grot, these are the decks. There's a recap. What? There are turtles in God of Destruction? No, God of War. Could be. Don't play God of Destruction. It demands that you kill your own turtles. It was... Oh, was there turtles originally in God of Destruction? I think there was. I think you're right. There originally was. But we have not... There is no longer turtles in God of Destruction. Did say that. Dang nabbit. Now I have to be healthy. Good. Indeed. Yes, good. Teleport. Teleport's a game ender. Basically good for anyone who has a weaker heroes and wants to just end the game and send units over. I think honestly teleport might just be a a human or wow creation thing. Okay, me sleepy. Grot, go to bed. Goodbye, Grot. We shall miss you, indeed. Me sleepy. Visions of death. This is just good for anyone. Trigger a positive death effect of your choice instantly without destroying the card. Also altruism, I think. Because the nice part about this is that if you're not killing things, you can still get the death effect without killing it. You know, that's my reasoning. You're tanking and you can just go boop and then you get this death effect. Especially get something like World Ender, you can just you can use World Ender's death effect to kill World Ender, which is kind of funny. You're like, World Ender, nope, trigger your death effect, destroy the card of your choice, controlled by the old god, old World Ender dead. Oh wait, now that he's dead, I can trigger his negative or his positive death effect again and kill something else. Anyway, I think that's fun. We've got a few things left then. Should we start with altruism? What else does altruism need? Altruism kinda kills easily already, so it stacks with Musketeer and Assassin. True, I kind of forget that, like, the idea is that they're hyper aggressive, but altruism kind of protects you. I think it still works though. If you did a full tank altruism deck, then Visions of Death would be great on there, I think. But altruism's kind of like half tank, half hyper aggression because you kind of need it because, or whatever, you can use you already have a tank, so you don't need another one, you know? What else do they need? So generally good spells should be considered for creation just because it's kind of solid all around. Yeah. Well, they got teleport and militia, or not militia, counteroffensive, which are counteroffensive's a good just like generic units, right? Teleport is just good. Barrage and magic missile is just a pretty good all around one. I would be okay with that. And then maybe a defensive one, maybe like Desperate Mage's Shield. Like seems like a good, just like overall, like sort of normal, whatever. Oh, actually, you know what? Rather than Mage's Shield, let's do Arcane Construct, because it actually, they get more out of that one because you can place an additional unit on it, which actually technically is a bad thing, potentially, if you're trying to use this. Never mind, we're not using this. It's technically a bad thing. I lied. And technically their passive could be bad, because part of the thing about Desperate Mage's Shield is that you can place 1 to 6 units on it. So that means if you place this card in a zone, then you can give it 1 unit and then let it tank a attack's weakest card. But the problem would be is that if you play it with Humanity, it will always place with 1 more unit on it. So it will, it could tank, it could potentially sabotage you being able to defend a weakest card. I have to head out early today. Have a good rest of the stream, everyone. You too, DDP. Thank you for always lurking around. I appreciate it. Hanging out. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Yeah, it is bad. Bad. I agree. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Okay, what else do we need? It's kind of funny having Arcane Construct and Militia, because you can use you can just play Arcane Construct and then use Militia to make Arcane Construct an attacking hero, which is kind of funny to me. Your little tuna guardian, indeed. I could potentially see Catalyst also going into this deck, but I'm not entirely certain it's super great. Like, you can gain like a few units with it, but you could just, you know, use it to attack with Pyromancer. I don't know. Which you wouldn't want to do with Arcane Construct most of the time, but it could be interesting in certain cases. Clutch in certain cases. Yeah. Okay, let's do like some potentials. Okay, for War, I could see Catalyst. I could see, I mean, pretty much any deck would love Raise an Army. We could literally put Raise an Army in any deck. Honestly, I almost want to say, because if we're limiting ourselves to 2 per thing, I would put wait, hold on. We wouldn't want counteroffensive because counteroffensive is anti-synergy with Cave. Maybe that's what we were thinking of before. So Raise an Army in Altruism in case you need some extra units. I was about to say that. Indeed. You're about to say that counteroffensive is opposite of Cave, or that Raise an Army should go in Altruism. I could see Catalyst. I could see, I'm just thinking of some like more potentially defensive ones. I mean, maybe. Also, maybe. This is like the list that could go into War that I'm thinking of. You know, I want this back one more row. It's bothering me. Which is quite a list. You know, fuck it. Beep it. Oops. I did a swear. Oopsie poopsie. I done diddly swore. Raise an Army could go with Altruism initially, but I remembered counteroffensive is anti-synergy with Cave, so I predicted the future. True. Yeah, I remember you saying that, actually. At least I think. So yeah, one of these spells, what are we thinking? Or 2 of these spells for War. 2 man beats, true. Mods, kill him. Let's talk about each of them. Send reinforcements is nice because if you have a bunch of units on your heroes and you can't move them off, it's nice to have this. Although we already have 2 ways to do that, which is Gladiator Arena and Army Camp. So it's like, do we need send reinforcements on top of that? Demolish, Scorch Earth, and Banish from Existence are just good to to kill things if you can't, right? Especially because you'll have weaker, like heroes will have a lot of, all your units will be spread out throughout all your heroes rather than all your units being on a specific hero. So it might be nice to be able to kill high strength targets. Hypnotic Melody, Entangle, Arcane Construct are all sort of just like defensive spells. If we want more defense, we already have Mage's Shield, but if we want to double down on the defense sort of side of things, we could do that. And then Catalyst, you could just trigger any of these red effects, which would either, give you some units or let you attack with Pyromancer. And then lastly, Cognitive Enhancement, if you just need to pull a specific card, that can be nice. Send Reinforcements is already in 2. Yeah, I already don't like it anyway, so let's get rid of that. Callus is the most interesting, honestly. Yeah. I think I'm between... I think Catalyst is a good option. Cognitive Enhancement, I'm like, whatever. Do we... Yeah. Arcane Construct, I'm whatever. Hypnotic Melody... Nah. I think Entangle... I'm between these 4, I think. I think... between these 3. Catalyst. I don't like Entangle personally because it feels like too much disabling will make it way too strong. I don't care about it being too strong. I think being too strong isn't a worry, because people can build their deck any way they want. They don't have to build it this way. They can make their own deck, I'm more thinking of it, honestly, for the just getting rid of the negative death effect portion of it. And it's only too strong if you have Mad Scientist active. Which, I mean, it only costs you 2 units to disable something. So I don't think it's really... But I think in that sort of same line of thinking, though, it's like you already have disabling, so why do you need more of it, So I think these 2. There's an interesting synergy with Entangle and True, but I wouldn't want the deck to be overshadowed by the disabling aspect, like disabling taking the spotlight of attacking too much. Yeah, I guess it's fair. Yeah, I think it's also just like, yeah, there's too much of it. You don't need more. You already have 2 cards that are disabling stuff. Interesting interaction between Entangle and Whale Hunter is that so the thing is, once the card is enabled, once the monster is enabled, it goes back to their side and triggers their death effect. You could, in theory, use Entangle to keep it on your side of the board an additional turn, which is kind of interesting. Although I guess Whale Hunter is kind of an Entangle spell, but a hero. That is kind of cool, right? It's also just nice to, like, if you have a death effect and you're like, I really don't want to deal with that. It's just nice to have. So that's kind of cool. Should we do the same thing we did last time where we copy all the... Oh, wait, we only have 1 spell to put in. And it's for Devotion. Now let's do it. We have This only appears once. This only appears once. That's twice. This is once. Once, but is already used. Once. Twice. Once. Twice. Once, but is already used. Once. Once. Twice. Oh, what? Why are you yelling at me? I didn't even do anything. Twice. Once. Once. Twice, twice. Okay. These are potentials for devotion. Which, again, 2 of these are already in use. So that doesn't matter. Hi, baby. So another hypothetical is the acrobat hero who always takes 3 damage. Where would you see that going? Could go in altruism. Because you could just tank the 3 damage on altruism whenever. I almost don't necessarily see it going with a specific god, and more of it going with specific cards. Like it would be great with Indomitable King, right? When this hero takes damage, it takes 1 less, and then you can split the damage, so you'll always take 2 damage on it instead of 3, right? And then you could probably put it with a cleric. Wait, God, is Cleric King insane? No. Yes? That might need some clarification. Because in theory, Cleric King is... Split is a confusing term. We might need to change that, because in theory, you could have Cleric and King. When a card gets attacked, right, it gains 1 unit. Or it gains 2 units now, sorry. When a card gets attacked, it gains 2 units. But it's only with monsters. Let's say a monster deals 3 damage, it can be lowered to... But then it's lower... God, it's going to get confusing. I'll have to figure out that interaction later, but that could potentially be crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think I expect it in a specific deck. More just a... Because it's kind of an all-arounder. Kind of like a tank. It would be very interesting to see, though. I think we don't do militia because we already have send reinforcements in army camp, so it's just like whatever. Claire is such a mischievous girl, keeps enabling incredible synergies. It's true. She's probably overpowered. But, you know, here we are. All right, we already have send reinforcements, so we don't need that. What's good here? Cognitive enhancement can be good because it lets you get specific cards you want. Like if you really want bridge, it's kind of nice for that. Teleport's good if you want to bring other people's structures to your side. Say like you have someone else who has like a, you know, that have got like a, you know, a wastelock fortress. You could bring it to your side and then use bridge to apply the effect to them and yourself. So you can, you know, do that. That's kind of interesting. Arcane Construct, Counteroffensive, both kind of defensive abilities, although we already have Hypnotic Melody, so that's kind of like up. Wouldn't she actually be insane if a hero who always takes 3 damage? Sort of. Kinda. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. Kind of enhancement so you can enable stuff sooner. Teleport might be too little options in comparison. True. Dispel and I mean all of these kind of feel, you know, just kind of situational. And charm is kind of a defensive move as well. I think cognitive enhancement feels the best. Like if you're trying to fish for a specific card, it's kind of nice. The rest of these kind of feel like whatever, you know? We have used all these, right? Charm, Arcane Construct, Teleport. Yeah. Banish. Yeah, that's it. We did it. Let's save. I'm honestly impressed how well these turned out. Me too. I think it's pretty cool. Would actually like to try them all. Me too. I'm excited about it. Yeah, and it's given me ideas for a few other like hybrid decks. Like again, I think it would be cool to center one around like Pyromancer war deck. I think would be interesting. Like very heavy card draw war deck would be cool. And maybe just centering some stuff around specific cards too, like, you know, like a deactivation card or whatever, or like a disabling sort of thing. There's a lot of cool interactions I think to consider, so that's pretty cool. Okay. How are we doing on time? 2 hours, 40 minutes. I think I'll probably try to end on time. Let me actually see what's going on here. We can play around with the unused gods too. True. That be the true. We could. I don't know if I'm going to today. I think I want to end on time. Mostly because I promised everyone that I would have a video out by the 1st, and I'm in danger of not doing that. Mostly because I've been gone 2 weeks out of this entire month, so I've only had like a week to do it, a week and a half or something. I don't know. So yeah, I've got a video to work on. We're very close to putting this update out. Let's look at what we actually have to do yet. But I generally think the next big god implementation could be C, although I didn't realize C doesn't fit with all the other gods, so maybe it should be rethemed. In what way? In what way doesn't it fit? I think C is fine. I think honestly the next one is either, I mean, the ones that I would implement into the game would probably be Navik or Nivik. I don't even know how you'd even say it. Maybe Nivik. Or Thazira. Because both those are pretty cool. I don't think it would be God of Retribution, but the idea is kind of interesting. God of Retribution's the, like, I don't think we could just instantly implement. It needs to be played with first, but Ultimate Devotion, Harvest War, none of those actually physical things, they're concepts. That's true. C is just a physical creation. I guess that is true, isn't it? Humanity, I guess, used to be, but now it isn't, right? Hi. I still don't think that's bad. But yeah, I guess most of them are concepts, aren't they? That's kind of interesting. I didn't even think about that. Trade, sacrifice, retribution. Yeah, honestly, that makes even more sense now that I've changed creation or humanity to creation. I feel like that makes more sense with all the gods. Interesting. Never noticed that. The more you know about your own game. Okay, what am I doing? I am pulling up what we need to do. The god of flow or something like that. Something can relate to water, but isn't all about that. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I could see, well, I was about to say fortune, but like luck of the sea, but that's different. We build decks. We got to set up the table, which, whatever. I basically finished the patch notes. There might be just like one or two things I need to like type on that. We technically need to set the old god up for battling against these guys, because the problem is it has like double the amount of cards it probably should. Although I think it did say take the deck, shuffle it random, like shuffle it and then draw, or and then take half the number of cards. So what is that, 32? Shuffle it, take 32 cards, and then play against the human or like any player deck. I think that's probably fine for now. I probably don't need, I probably shouldn't focus too much on that, right? Maybe Navik was the god of water all along. I mean, trade is very whatever, and it's kind of similar to the sort of ability you wanted. I'm not even saying that just to do less work. I'm thinking maybe that's just the case. Because it was about like putting cards in and out of your deck, I think, right? And that's pretty much exactly what God of Trade does. And that would make sense as a conceptually like water-based god. But I don't mean to ruin your hopes and dreams. But you do love Navik, so Nivik. So those are my thoughts. Yeah, that's maybe why I was drawn to Navik, but you actually suggested C could be about activating effects from the hand. I forgot about that. Did I write that down? Because that's a cool idea. Did I? It's probably somewhere in all my notes. I have too many. The God of Hunger. That's scary. I don't know if I did. Let's just write it down. Hi, baby. What's going on, girl? We'll write it down for now and we'll figure it out. God of Sea effects activate from hand in some way. Hey! That is my couch. Yeah. This is my couch. You can't destroy it. It's mine. You're a little stinker, you know that? You're just a little stinker. Also, now that I brought it up, the whole gods concept thing, that interesting for lore that maybe these gods only bring concepts into the world and the world evolves around those concepts they integrated. That is very cool. I like that a lot. Post that in the thing, in the god concepts. I like that a lot. They didn't like create the world, they just manipulated it. I kind of like that idea. That's kind of sick, actually. Are you just circling around me like a little shark? Some coincidental genius, indeed. It's pretty sick. Okay, yeah. So basically, all we got to do now is we need to go in the rule book and just tweak a few things. And then I just need to set up the board to be like, here's each starter deck. And then I don't know how to set up the board with that. I guess along the side, just have each starter deck. And then maybe the full deck of cards. The problem is you can't really play with the full deck of cards like you used to anymore because it's not balanced around that. It used to be balanced around that where it's like each land had the right number of lands and like whatever. But I think if you played it that way now, it would be kind of broken. It actually works well when you think about the gods' effects work. They're basically rules you're playing around. Yeah, I like that. You playing with your paper? I guess it doesn't have to be perfect, right? This is part of me wonders if I should just leave the cards out like this and you can just grab it and shuffle it into your thing, or is this just confusing as far as like how should I present this? How do you think? Like, do I leave these like this and like and be like, here's the decks you can choose from, and then you can kind of just see what you're working with and then like throw it in there? Or do I like, you know, do I do this and then just like, I guess I'd have to do copies of all, well, I probably should do it like this. Why did it do it that way? Why does it do that? Yeah, it's annoying. It's just not how that should work. And then just stack them all in a nice tidy pile, and then put the god on the top. That's probably the most like space efficient way to do this, but I'm gonna put the king on first because it feels the most thematic to the deck. Not that it really matters. It's like that's the deck. I don't know how I should do that. I suppose for now I'm just gonna do both. I guess we pick away at that until we get kind of close to being done, and then we'll call it a day. Because again, I really want to finish this video, but I'm probably there's pretty much no way I'm gonna make it, but I'm gonna try my darndest anyway. Please don't leave me. I have to. Since I've never used TTS, I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what the best presentable way to do it is. Like, if someone comes into the game and then they just see all these decks laid out, I feel like it's just going to be like, what am I supposed to do? Especially if it doesn't... I think I probably should just leave it, because you could like, or combine all the decks and people can just search through them, go like this, and like see what the cards are. You can't really see this because it's hidden behind stuff, but you know, they can just see all the cards over here, and that's probably fine if they want to see what cards are in the deck. Because oh, this is way easier to do. I don't know why I wasn't doing it this way. Okay. Yeah, and actually the interesting thing about deck building is you could actually deck build 2 decks instead of just one, and then you can make sure that they synergize really well with each other, which I think is kind of a cool concept as well. That's cool because how a lot of TCGs do it, yeah. You're cool. Got him. What are you gonna do about it? I really showed him, didn't I? I probably should make a deck list for each of these too. Cry mostly, that's fair. Happy tears, or... Or are you just sad that I think you're cool? You need to be nice to your fans. It's weird. I don't like particularly like calling people fans. It feels weird. Sad tears. I'm too cool to be called cool. To be too cool to be called cool. Fair. I'm your biggest fan. Yeah, that's fair. Like it's accurate, right? Like it's an accurate thing to say. I think you're more. You've done it now, too. Tuna ships us. At least that's what I got of the I think you're more. Your mom is likely your biggest fan. That's probably true. You know what? I'm taking off the hat. I don't feel like wearing it anymore. You know, crazy. Free semi-bald redeem. What time is it? 3:51. Thanks, guys. I've spent so many coins last stream. Kind of on you, buddy. Why do you like me bald so much? I feel like it's kind of interesting that this game is a 25 card deck. Like, I feel like most TCGs and stuff like that are a lot more cards. You know what I mean? I feel like a deck is usually like 50 to 100 cards in like a lot of TCGs. It looks good. I mean, right now it's pretty whatever. You're also the #1 Beast Creations fanfic writer, the #1 mod and #1 funny guy, #1 simp, etc. Gina, do you have a crush on me? If so, it's mutual. But yes, I ship it. It's literally canon in one of the cards. Wait, oh yeah, it's true. It is. I was like, what are you talking about? But it's canon in like a lot of places. Very unfortunately. There's a fan game about it. There's a card that has me and Heart, and then there's also one of the doodles I had me do. It's me and him holding hands on a park bench. So you know, there's that. Unfortunately, yes. No, he just broke Toots' heart like that. Toots is married. I don't go after married men. You know what I mean? It cuts deep. Not a home wrecker. It'll heal, but surely scar. I'm sure his wife ships it too. That's fair. Yeah. I don't know why, but wives and significant others like me, you know, just in general. For like most of my friends and family and stuff. Because you're likable, Beats. Yeah, I know. Okay, God. I'm just too likable. I'm just kidding. Anyway. Here we are. I need food. Why do I need food? It's not even lunchtime. You are very likable. I'm glad people make sure you know it. Yeah, even your future employer and dispatch let you guess her despite being taken. Oof. True. We should be doing that this weekend, so that's fun. Speaking of dispatch, I don't think I have anything going on finally. I got my dude, I feel like I haven't even had like, I don't know. I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind. I feel like I've been doing too much lately. I like how Osgathian Warrior and the beats look pretty similar but different, you know. It's kind of crazy the quality of the thing. This is the perspective is off in this. I think Tebow was pointing it out, but you know, it's fine. I'm asking Mrs. Toot. I'll report back when she answers. Okay. Please let us know. It's this is just a funny story. One of my brother's friends, we did that kind of the same sort of jokes me and Toot do, where it's like, it was like, you know, it's like, oh, we should have been together or whatever. It was like that kind of thing. And when he was getting married, we like made the joke, like, you know, I was like, you know, it'd be like, oh, like he's getting married. Oh, it should have been me, like as a joke. And then at his wedding, they had like all these like boards where they wrote like there was like a board. You take I don't know if it was like, I can't remember. It was like little notes. And on my note, I wrote, it should have been me. And then like, it's like someone in his wife's family were like, who wrote that? Is like, did it like, is there someone who like wanted to like be with you? It's like, oh no, that's for my husband. Actually, I think it was on Polaroid, so I had a picture of me on it. It was pretty funny. Anyway, it was a good time. It's funnier probably for me than for you guys, but haha, hell yes. Did Mrs. Toot say yes? Doesn't feel any less special. Okay. I don't feel any less special. Good. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was a good time. We did it. It's just proof that you're attracted to straight men. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, frick. Okay. I asked for a rationale. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll drop it in stream chat. Okay, good. I'm breaking the game. I think Luna also casted some handsomeness spells on him in his sleep, probably. It's the only explanation why she keeps waking up. True. Or it's that she missed me because I was been gone and she wants to hang out with me. Which is probably it. Should we rank these decks from most player friendly to least player friendly? Creation, War, or like new player friendly to be specific. War, Harvest, I think Altruism is the hardest to play because you play it differently than any other deck. Cats are so lazy when you want to hang out with them. They're so hyperactive when you don't. It's true. Although Luna's usually pretty good. It's just when she gets off of my sleep schedule, it's like, it's rough. Cause so like, I know I get, there's a lot of, you know, animal lovers that get mad at me for this, but she does sleep outside my room at night. Like I close my door and she will just spend the whole night by herself. And then like in the morning, she'll wake me up. She'll like meow at my door and then I, you know, whatever. It's great though, because I don't have to like have her like biting my toes in the middle of the night or whatever. Right. But whenever I am away from home for like even a day, it throws off her entire schedule, and she'll wake me up at like 4 in the morning. So yeah, it's kind of you know, once like it's like a day or two after that, she gets back into the schedule, but I don't know, here we are. Why would animal lovers judge that? Everyone needs privacy and alone time. I don't know. A lot of people are like, oh, you don't let your cat be with you while you're sleeping. You're a monster. I don't know. I think like Devotion's not really a hard deck to play, especially now that there's a lot of things, but it's a little more complicated for new people, I would think. So I think maybe this is the order, actually. Honestly, Magic might be harder to play than Devotion. How do we feel about this for difficulty? I was tempted to do it in Roy G. Biv, but I'm just going to save it like this way. I think you're a really good pet owner. Well, thank you. I think I'm okay. I should probably play with my cat more, but sometimes you need to do things, you know? Player decks 1.1. What version are we on? 1.1.7. Well, I don't even know what my version scheming is anymore. Those are the beta cards. 1.1.7, that's correct. Doesn't it not let you do points in this or whatever? I don't know. Okay. Dingus Mortimus, hello. I got confused because I thought you were two, because that was his old icon was the same as that. But yeah, hello. You missed all of the deck building. That's like saying you don't let your kids play with paint all the time. You're a monster. Yeah, I mean, some people are like that, though, to be fair. I forgot about the icon. Yeah, it's so good. Did you post your... Oh, no, you did. Did you? Oh, here's the... Okay. Am I allowed to read this out loud, too? I mean, it's in the Discord, but... You can do whatever you want with it. Okay. Toot asked... Here, this is what Toot asked his wife. Dear, I have a question. Do you see Natal B and I making a good couple? Theoretically, of course. Yeah, I think that's actually cute, is what she says. Toot says, could you provide a brief rationale? He's very this Mrs. Toot. He has a very wholesome, very thoughtful, or he's very wholesome, very thoughtful, and very selfless, and you very much appreciate and value those qualities. So you guys would flourish kind of nurturing those same qualities in each other. It's so funny. Oh, frick. Heckin' frick, you know what I mean? That's hilarious. Anyway. What the hell? Okay. I think I'm probably gonna... I should have saved this one more time. And then I'll probably set this up in my spare time because I think it's going to be annoying. If not, I will do it on Tuesday, and it'll be kind of a boring day while I set stuff up and you guys can yell at me. Ship is canon now, I guess. I guess so. Toot's wife ships us, so here we are. Respect goes both ways. As much as pet owners do for their animals, some animals are willing to do things for their owners in response. True. Toot must be such a good husband to be able to ask his wife and not her start questioning things. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's just save this again. You can overwrite a save, right? This one. Overwrite. Overwrite. I think we're in an ad, but like whatever at this point. Oh yeah, I literally said that. I do my best. Lucky it's enough. There you go. Okay. So, we'll see if I do this next. I might do this. Obviously next stream is dispatch. I probably should be able to do that. Earlier, I think I'm going to try at 10 instead of at 1. So I'll be much earlier. So hopefully more people can make it. We'll see how that goes. Y'all are making me get up early. Not really. But it should be good. We'll see how that goes. I think we would do like chat does D&D in the same way, if we do it that way. And then hopefully I'm gonna get this update pushed out in the next few days. If it doesn't get out by Tuesday, then we're gonna just spend the entire stream getting it ready to ship it. You know what I mean? Speaking of shipping, it always has been banana gun astronaut. What are those? What are those? What? Why? You know, whatever. School starts on Monday, so I am super unsure about if I can get on stream from here on out. Damn. Yeah, I know you've been trying to. I'm sure you're trying to focus on that more. I know you're upset about some of your classes and stuff, but I'm sure we'll see you around, Mr. Mortimus. Hopefully I'll be coming out with more videos, so maybe you can watch those in your spare time. But yeah, I don't know. My streams are kind of all over the place. Still trying to figure out what works for time wise, but everyone's all over the place also, so it's just like whatever. At a certain point, I just have to do what's good for me, and then hope you guys can make it. You know, it's always has been meme format. Oh, I'm not a meme lord. I'm sorry. You mentioned having some different pricings for the old god cards, so I have some questions about that. What do you mean? Using the term meme lord already shows us that. Yeah, true. For redeems. Oh yeah, okay. I think it'll be back to like cheaper like they were before once we do the old god stuff. I think we'll be back to like, you know, 15K or something for an old god card. Maybe we'll even go crazy and do cheaper for land. But is that because you're actually thinking of adding old god cards anyway? Correct. But you just get to direct what card that is, you know? Yes, I'm so glad I held my money. Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, so we'll be doing old god cards. I think the idea, right, is we're going to be doing we're going to be making these better and more like we're going to give the old god synergies, you know? Toot's like, I'm so glad I spent all my points. So like some of these are cool effects, but I think we can make them work even better. I think the best one so far, even though it doesn't work, is Umbra, who has, if you reach 3 minion stacks, they're replaced by an old god card. I think we can do something cooler with that, but that kind of idea. So things would synergize with that sort of idea, like maybe minions that are really tanky, so it's harder to kill, so it's more likely to get you know, those cards drawn. So they would have like their own different minions, and they'd have their own different, you know, so we do like a lot of stuff along those veins, right? So like the cards would more synergize with whatever. I don't really like any of them anymore after the minion fix. I agree. It's late. Hi, it sure is. We're probably not going to be here too much longer, but I don't regret getting a baby turtle guy. True. Oh, I got to do sit-ups. I'm also tired because I'm running on like 4 hours of good sleep and then like maybe an hour of just like trying to sleep for 3 hours. Saw the chat with Mrs. 2. Isn't that so funny? What do you think, Tebow? Absolute cinema. So could a redeem apply to a whole new old god as well? And obviously you could not do any cards for it if you don't want to. I would say probably it would end up being in the beta, probably is what would happen, unless I liked it better than one of these. I don't think I'm going to do more gods than this, or old gods than this. Maybe, very maybe we could do 7. So it's like 7 old gods and seven player gods, but I think there's going to be a lot more overlap in cards with the old god. I'm probably not going to make 50 new cards for the old god, but we'll see. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure, and we're probably, like I said, going to take it one god at a time. And we're not going to take 6 months to do an update. So, because I feel like an easier difficulty would be one where there's a really strong monster at the bottom of the deck. Yeah. I just had a great idea, but I think it's a little too extreme at this stage of development. I hate that I didn't find it earlier. Okay, I'd love to hear it, but yeah, at this point, I think if it's any sort of like crazy mechanics change, there's definitely no more of that. There's the few thoughts on that. I'll just yap for a few minutes and then we'll probably dip out. I still want Neth to be like the difficult god, right? Like this is just like you're trying to be mean to yourself is playing against Neth. These are going to be intermediate where they'll have like special synergies and stuff like that. Null will probably play pretty much how he plays now, except just some of the cards will be kind of just more tailored to like a medium level experience. And then honestly, I don't think I care to have an easy god anymore. And I think I'm going to make this one for solo play if you want to play a singular deck against a singular, like the solitaire version where you play one of these without an ally. So maybe it like helps with ally synergies when you don't have them. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Where can you see the whale going? Because it's coming first. Fair enough. I don't remember what the ability of the whale is. So did we write it down? Whale. If drawn before X, it's put back into the deck and then shuffled. And that seems like a good, like, I mean, it's a boss monster, right? Like we'll probably have a boss, like a different boss monster for each one. Neth will probably have all the boss monsters. But yeah. Since I'm keeping my finger on the trigger at all times. Yeah. What if the old god deck had cut cards placed like half the bottom, have the bottom, the other specific points of the deck? That way, like that cut card, you would have some way of knowing they were coming. Yeah, we talked about, yeah. I think that could potentially be a thing. Like you have like, yeah, like after 5 cards that, you know, that card specifically appears or something. But we did have, like, there will be less old gods in the deck. So it's like, or less old god cards in the deck. So like Tuna was saying, like we could have a god's effect be like World Ender is placed at the end of, at the bottom of the deck, right? Like that could be a thing. But having the decks laid out in a specific way, I'm not entirely certain. It might be a little late for that, but I don't know. In some ways, I think the random variation is good. I don't know. Shrug. So whale can hit adjacent targets to one attack as AoE. Right. That was the other idea. Let me write that down. AoE adjacent targets. It'd be pretty strong in that case, but would a solo one have an effect like literally like only one god can fight me? No, it would be something like, I don't know. Honestly, this one is decent as a solo god, although I would lower the, I think I would lower it to, it's kind of a boring experience, but I think it's like you lower it to 1 normal card and like 2 or 3 minions. Because like the way to think about it, right, is like you need a half as powerful this god, right? So this god is specifically a 3 card draw with 2 minions, so it would be half that, which is like 1.5, right? And this is just 1. So what's half of a card, right? So it's like 1, it should be 1 card draw. The closest thing you can get to for half of a card is like a minion, right? So it's just a 1/2 instead, which I think is a boring experience. It might just be like maybe 2 cards and then like the negative death effect doesn't trigger, but even 2 cards is a lot. It might be like negative death effects don't trigger, and then something to buff the fact that you don't have allies to synergize with. Something like if a card says for an ally, you can give it to yourself instead, you know, something like that. But Decks being preset might be too confusing. Yeah, unless you just have like a book that tells you how they go, right? But it is interesting. It's a cool concept. If you make a physical edition, people would be like, what the beep? Yeah, you'd literally just have to have it. You'd have to have a booklet that tells you like how the decks are in order. Like, I mean, I probably should make a deck list. I should just write down. In fact, I'm gonna make a note to do that. I'll make a note to tell what cards are in each deck. Yeah, I know isn't the best idea right now for the current decision, but I couldn't come up with the cut card when talking about fixing the old government on the table. Yeah, honestly though, like it's not something that couldn't be done, right? It's like we can definitely have game modes where people are just like, I like to play the game like this, you know? Like there's plenty of ways to play the game that isn't the official rules, right? Like Grot's been doing deck building and he has like 8 structures and like got rid of like 7 structures and 1 spell, you know? Like in theory, you could just play the game differently, you know? So I don't know. Maybe that's a thing for people to consider too, is that you can play the game in a different way. I think it's good to have a solo difficulty because if people end up liking it, you can actually split the game into solo and duo. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cool to have like, there's not a solitaire TCG, you know? I think that's kind of a cool concept, but I think being able to send stuff to yourself instead of an ally is a buff, not a nerf. Well, it would be you would want a buff for you, right? You would want a buff for you because you want... Oh, wait, because you design the game to incentivize players to play together and help the weaker one out. The actions that help the other player are quite strong. Yeah. That's the idea. If you have a solo thing, you want some way to buff a single... Because it'd be one deck versus this god is the idea. So you can play like a solitaire version. Instead of playing with two solo decks, if that makes sense. That's the idea. I don't know. Yeah. I agree that that is probably like the best way to play it, but I think the idea of that is more approachable to some people and like less tracking to do and maybe a quicker game. I agree. I usually play 2 gods, but I think it would be kind of interesting to, you know, maybe like you're at like an airport or something. You don't want to take up like, you know, the entire table because I've played that before and I'm like, I can't have like I did my physical game and I'm like, it's kind of nice to have like a more concise version if you want to play by yourself. Grot is an Osgathian, no magic, no physical labor. What? Where did that come from? It's quite fun to be frank. Yeah. I always think why is TBF breaking my brain? To be fair, I was about to say to be frank. I'm like, that's not what it is. I'm an old man. Anyway, I don't know if it's approachable to being played both sides alone. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's a lower barrier to entry. Who is Frank? Oh, you know. For the game, having friends is that's too much. No, but you can play the game solo co-op, right? Like you just play both gods. It's just a lot more tracking to do, which I think it benefits from playing that way. Like that's probably the way you should play it. But I do like the idea of this. And then also if you add additional players, like if you decide to do if you decide to do 3 players, it's kind of nice to have a god balanced around playing against a single player, because then you can be like, okay, we're playing 3 players. I have Null and Bogotat, right? So I'm playing against 2 old gods against 3 players. And then if you do 4 players, you play against two nulls, right? Or a null and like one of these guys or something like that, right? Like you can kind of tailor your difficulty a little bit better. So I think that's kind of interesting. It's more approachable for me than finding a person who was both friendly with me and on the same time zone or free at the time, and that I'm free and interested in magic like TCG. True. Gra isn't a Scythian because he used structures and no spell. Only structures and no spells. It was, oh yeah, true. I get it now. Yes, thank you. I understand. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to bed, so I'm saying goodbye already. Bye-bye, Thibaut. Fare thee well. I believe in you. To sleep. Who is Frank? Bitey Frank. Little snake guy. Yeah, but everyone in this community is kind of that guy, one kind of something that causes awe and inspires everyone wherever they go. Like general populace is not. Wait, general populace is not this. Indeed. Bye-bye, T-Bo. T-Bro more like, you know what I mean? Nailby attracts unique individuals. I think that's kind of the truth my entire life. T-Bro, I like that. Yeah. It's pretty good. Not this cool. My keyboard loves replacing my words with emojis. Oh. True. Like how we can tell how tired you are from your dyslexia frequency. Yeah, 100%. I heart you. Aw. Yeah, I knew it was gonna be like this stream. I'm like, I'm worried that I'm gonna not function the stream with like I said, 4 hours of sleep. Twitch does that anyway. I hate it. Yeah, right. The Twitch emojis, little mask ones. But yeah. I think that's everything though. I mean, like, I just need to compile everything together, which is like, again, it's just kind of boring work and I don't have the energy to do it right now because it's like, I'd have to kind of focus on it. So if I don't have this out before Tuesday, we're going to work on it and then we'll kind of just, you know, it'll be boring, but we'll get it done. It's like a rule book stream. Sorry, Maximus. You'll have to... I don't know. You'll have to quit school to watch the final installment of the rule book stream. I'm just kidding. Anyway. I think it's time for me to go. Let's go to my face. There we go. Look at my beard. It's just so beardy. I keep going back and forth. I love rules. No one would miss that feature. True. Absolutely despicable. I'll watch it during my thermodynamics lecture. There you go. Beats, is dispatch relaxing because you don't need to read as much? Maybe? I don't know. I mean, it was, I think I had more, well, I don't know, actually. I was about to say, I think I had more brain power last time, but I don't know if I did, because I played it, and then after I got off it and tried to switch gears to drawing, it just did not work. I was like, hey, I had time to draw. I'm like, I can't do this. So I don't know. Sort of yes, sort of no. I don't know. I think I'll have to do it again because we only did it once. So it's kind of, the options are reading. That honestly hurt me a little bit, kind of toward the end. There were some like decisions I made for interacting with Invisigirl or whatever, and I said like two things that I just didn't read fast enough. I'm like, I don't know. I'm picking this one. What happens if you don't pick? Do you just say nothing, or does it just pick one for you? But yeah, there was like two I was like, I wouldn't have probably said that if I had time. I just couldn't read them all in time. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it'll be interesting to see how another playthrough goes. I like the awkward, okay then. It picks randomly. Old Telltale games had silence if you don't pick. Interesting, which is hilarious. Yeah, picks randomly, yeah. Nothing should be an option too. True. But yeah, I think that'll be fun to do. We've got all this stuff set up. It's good. We're done there. Okay. I'm gonna try my darndest to get this video out by 3 days from now, but I have many feelings it will not be done. So I'm going to try to get it out as quickly as I can after that. And then I think I should be able to get another video out pretty quickly after that, because it's literally just going to be me rambling about just this update that we just did. So I think it should be easy because I am an authority on the subject to just be like, oh yeah, this is this card and it works like this, and I think it's interesting because it has cool synergies with this card, and then like this, and then I'll just talk about that for 30 minutes, and then it'll be like, you know, a long video with zero effort. So yo, Anonymous, we're leaving in a second. I gotta find someone to raid, which will probably take me 4 years, but or if you don't pick, it picks randomly but different tone, which also affects the story, like a hesitant pick. It seemed like it was interesting because in Dispatch, I think there was like a I think there's some options that showed up late, like slower. Is that, am I bye, lol. Is that true? Because it felt like there was like ones that like it showed up one and then another and then another and another. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was just, my brain was lagging. Every time a character has a conflict with another, I think to myself how I gap to resolve the conflict. True. I came in late and left early. The college mentality. There you go. In any story. Yeah. Who are we rating? Anyone got anyone? I wonder if we have I haven't really looked to see if like there's any people on the old web that are anything interesting. A lot of them are playing games though, and I feel like we're art people here, you know. This person's doing art. They're drawing a dragon person. And we're part of the web. We may as well use our powers. course, I have to watch 30 seconds of ads to do this. Let's just raid them. Why not? I wish there's a better way to do this. Copy. Okay. All right, y'all. One day I'll feel like streaming, so you'll be able to raid me. Deal. I don't know anyone to raid. I follow like 5 people, and 3 of them are you. Tuna and dual wielded. There you go. Now I follow you too, sucker. No. But today's not that day. It is not. We can do this. This is just someone from, I don't know anything about them. They're just in the same community as I am, so we're just gonna raid them. That is the thing. I don't know how this works. Is this? All right, we're going. We're out of here. Goodbye. I think it's just fast. Oh wait, no, it's the same. It's the same. Never mind. I was like, God, it's like kicking us out right now. All right, it'll be fun. They do. It seems like they do art. So anyway, yes, the trinity of streamers beats dual wielded and me. True. Also Anonymous. You gotta get Anonymous in there. And Toot. Well, the Toot hasn't streamed in a while. Nor is Anonymous, I suppose. But anyway. Y'all, goodbye. It was good seeing you. Thank you for being here. Yep, that's it. I'll see you on Sunday, and we'll play some Dispatch. Goodbye. Farewell. Toodaloo. Ta-ta for now. All right. Did that work? Yes, okay.